Welcome to Basic Filmmaker. Today we're going to cover this, the aluminum thing I've been talking about. It's a jib. Stay tuned. Let's talk about this. This is a DIY build, about $40. I first came across this on oliviatech.com. Her and some guys there put together a really nice jib. Takes awesome shots. The link will be here and you can go check that video out. I'm not going to cover how to take shots, what the results of the shots are, what it looks like. She covers that in a very good way. What I do want to cover that I didn't find is, what are the dimensions of the holes? How do you mount your camera here? How do you mount the camera back here? How do you weight it? What are the lengths of all these? Where do you get this? How far do you mount these? All these different questions I had, so I built a prototype to see if I could do it. I used a hand drill, I used a hacksaw, and I used, a wrench to put this thing together. It turned out well. It wasn't quite the level that I wanted it. So I went off and I did a little better job, figured out where to order the parts online, have them delivered to your door, and how to put it together. The thing I wanted to give you was a parts list. I wanted to give you all the dimensions to build this, and then I wanted to give you the link again at oliviatech.com to go see what you can do with this thing. A few things to note before we start. Let's get the overall look of this thing. You have two angles up here and an angle on top. The quick release mount is up here on top of that. You have your 3 foot up here, your 4 foot down here. That comes out here, your weights are on the back. Your 2 long tubes here, your 2 channels, and a way to mount it to the tripod. This mounts on the tripod, camera mounts up here, the weights counterbalance it, this moves up and down to take your shots.
Let's build this thing!
Let's look at the aluminum pieces you'll need. When I built the prototype, I got the aluminum at Lowe's, had to cut it myself with a hacksaw, and it cost me over $35. When I built the next one, I used the link that oliviatech.com referred to, onlinemetals.com. The link is included in the video description below. OnlineMetals.com charged me $16.14 for all the aluminum pieces I needed, and cut them to length. I paid an additional $10 for shipping, which brought the total to about $27 for everything delivered to my door. Here's what you should order. 1 3/4 inch by 1/16 inch by 36 inch long 6061 T6 square tube extruded aluminum, $3.38. 1 3/4 inch by 1/16 inch by 48 inches long 6061 T6 square tube extruded aluminum, $4. 2 3/4 inch by 1/16 inch by 7 inch long 6061 T6 square tube extruded aluminum, $1.33 each. 2 1 inch by 1 inch by 1/8 inch by 7 inch long 6061 T6 bare angle extruded aluminum, $1.33 each. 3 1 inch by 1 inch by 1/8 inch by 3 inches long 6061 T6 bare angle extruded aluminum, 60 cents each with a $1.50 cutting fee. If you want to cut these yourself, just use the dimensions as covered. Now for the hardware you'll need, included in the video description below. I went to Lowe's and Napa Auto Parts. You can use any hardware store, Home Depot, or online. 3 1/4 20 by 3 inch long hex head bolts, 22 cents each. One of these is for the back weight mounting. 4 1/4 20 by 1.5 inch long hex head bolts, 17 cents each. 2 1/4 20 by 1 inch long hex head bolts, 8 cents each. 1 1/4 20 by 3/4 inch long hex head bolt, 11 cents. This is for my front Manfrotto mount, so yours may be different. 9 1/4 20 hex lot nuts, 12 cents each. They come standard with the plastic insert inside. 8 1/4 inch inside diameter by 5/16 inch long nylon flange bushings, 33 cents each. I found these at Napa Auto Parts. Maybe I went overboard on the washers, but I used 16 1/4 inch flat washers, one under every bolt head, 11 cents each. 1 3/4 inch fender washer, 16 cents. This is specific for how I mount my weights. You might use something different. 3 3/4 inch PVC plugs, 85 cents each. I drill a 1/4 inch hole and insert it in my weights to keep them from moving around. Your weights may be different. 6 furniture tips, $1.89 each. These make the aluminum square tube ends look really finished. Alright, here's the hole dimensions. I had a friend with a drill press do all the holes so they were all square, but as I said previously, I built a prototype using a hand drill. If you use a hand drill, just drill them as perpendicular as you can. Here's the 3-inch long brackets that will mount on the tripod. Drill 1/4 inch holes as shown. Since I already had my Manfrotto mount, I knew from the prototype where the mount screw and pin would go, so I had my friend with the drill press also tap a thread in one of the pieces. Again, I don't give you the dimension for those holes as I don't know what type of mount you have. For now, just leave those out, and when you do get your mount, you can lay it on the assembled brackets, mark your holes, and drill them out. This is the third 3-inch long bracket. You'll be pretty safe drilling all 3 holes as your front mount will pretty much fit, no matter what type it is. If you want to be safe, just leave the one hole undrilled until you get your mount. It should be noted that you can drill this 1/4 inch hole in the bracket and mount your camera directly to it using a 1/4 inch screw if you'd like, and not use the quick mount at all. It's your choice. Here's the 2 front uprights. Drill 1/4 inch holes as shown. Here's the 2 back uprights. Again, drill the 1/4 inch holes as shown all the way through and out the other side. Here's the 3-foot and 4-foot jib arms. These are the only 5/16 inch holes that you will drill on the whole jib to accept the flanged nylon bushings. Drill these 5/16 inch holes as shown all the way through and out the other side. The back hole is for the 3-inch weight mounting screw. Again, depending on the type of weight you use, your mounting may be different, but you'll be pretty safe drilling the 1/4 inch hole for the weight mount. Here's the close-up of the jib arms, the front, the back, and the back far weights. And there you go. If you did a good job and followed the dimensions given, putting this together will be a snap. Let's take a look at building this thing. First, we have the 2 angle brackets that mount to the tripod via the quick release plate. The one on the left has the hole to accept the quick release pin. The one on the right has the thread to screw the quick release plate in. As I've noted, you'll have to modify according to which quick release you use. Next, mount the 2 7-inch aluminum square tubes to the bottom plates. You'll use 2 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch long bolts, 4 1/4 inch washers, one under the bolt head and one under the lock nuts, and 2 lock nuts. Don't tighten these down yet until we get the jib arms in. Now to the jib arms. The 3-foot and 4-foot jib arms have 4 5/16 holes in each, which is where you'll press in the nylon bushings as shown. They might be a little bit tight and take a little coercion. Now mount the 4-foot jib arm first. Just slide it in between the uprights and attach it using the 3-inch bolt, 2 washers, and a lock nut. Tighten this until it is snug. Do not over tighten. Now do the same with the 3-foot jib arm on top as shown, and remember to tighten the bolts until just slightly snug. Once you get these on, the arms should move freely or with a little bit of drag. If they don't, just back them off. Now you can fully tighten the bottom brackets you put together earlier. Now, using the 2 1.5 inch bolts, 4 washers, and 2 lock nuts, attach the 3-foot and 4-foot jib arms to the front brackets as shown in this terribly out of focus photo. We need to fire the photographer. Unfortunately, I'm the photographer. Blush. On the top of the angle brackets for the front, you now mount the angle to support the quick release mount and camera. Use 2 1-inch bolts, 4 washers, and 2 lock nuts. Let's mount my Manfrotto plates. I slide out the plate and mount it to the back where it will slide into my tripod. Here's an upside down photo of the plate mounted. Now I move the mounting block to the front and attach it using the 3/4 inch screw. By the way, I used a 3/4 inch screw so it didn't interfere with the plate on my camera when I slide the camera in. Now let's put the weights on the back. I put the PVC plug into the weights, added a fender washer on top, and used a lock nut and washer on the bottom. Since these are rubberized weights, they don't slip and move. Again, your weight system may be different. And here's the finished jib mounted on the tripod. Now let's look at the final jib. Here it is, still unpainted. I will disassemble and sand down any rough edges before I paint it. I haven't decided yet on the colors. I was thinking of painting it black with some yellow stripes, which would look like a bee. So maybe not. Anyway, let me note a few things. First, I have this mounted on a tripod with a Manfrotto head and a Manfrotto quick release plate. You can use any tripod or head that you want, even the cheap $10 ones. You could mount the jib on the tripod directly, although I wouldn't suggest it, unless the tripod is only going to be used for this jib. Since I use Manfrotto quick release plates on everything I have, I simply ordered one more quick release plate and the mounting block. And since I already had a Manfrotto quick release plate, I was able to tap a thread into the bottom angle bracket and not have to use a nut. I just used the screw that would normally be attached to the bottom of the camera and screwed it on. It has been holding well. It would be impossible for me to take into account every possible type of mount that would be used. For your build, I would suggest you wait until you have everything built and know which mount you're going to use, then take off the bottom angle brackets and modify them to suit your needs. For the front mount, I used the Manfrotto block part I ordered, which I mounted to the jib using the 3/4 inch bolt from below. My camera slides right into this existing Manfrotto head, since I already have the Manfrotto quick release plate mounted on my camera. Again, use whatever type of quick release plate you may want to use or already have. Now let's look at the back part where the weights are. There are two 2.5 pound barbell weights for a total of 5 pounds. You'll probably use different weights, so you'll have to figure out how to rig these yourself. OliviaTech.com has a link to some diving weights, which I'll also include in the link below. For my weights, I used the 3/4 inch PVC plugs with a 1/4 inch hole drilled through each one. Then I inserted the PVC plug into the weights to keep them from moving around, and using the fender washer, 3-inch bolt, and lock nut, mounted the two weights on the back. I have 3 weights for a total of 7.5 pounds, but I haven't needed all 3 yet. When you install the 8-flanged nylon bushings into the 3-foot and 4-foot long square tubes, make sure you do not over-tighten the lock nuts on these. The jib won't move up and down or move fluidly, and you can crush the nylon bushings if you're really strong. You'll be able to tell if they're too tight, as the jib won't move up and down easily. Just back them off a bit and it will. There's no danger in having the lock nuts a little loose on these. That's why we use the type of lock nuts we did. They'll stay put and they won't unscrew. On the rest of the lock nuts, you can tighten them down as much as you want. Okay. You should be able to figure out how to assemble this from all the photos being shown, and if you mess it up, just take it apart and try again. Let's talk about weight. I've mounted my Canon DSLR attached to a full shoulder rig with follow focus, HDMI monitor, sound gear, and all the goodies on this thing, and it holds up well. I can't guarantee that yours will, but I've had about 15 pounds of gear on here with no problem. Once mounted on your tripod, you can move the jib up and down by either grabbing the back weights or grabbing the front of the jib. I've had success with both. See the OliviaTech.com video for how she does it if you need to. As with any type of gear you own, including this jib, just use common sense. Yes, if the jib is 9 feet in the air and you have 15 pounds of gear mounted to the end, and you walk away from it, it might come crashing down. Also, as with any new equipment, practice until you are familiar with it. And lastly, with the aluminum materials, hardware, and shipping costs, the entire thing ran me $42.47. It took me about 20 minutes to measure and drill all the holes, and about 15 minutes to put together. Depending on where you live in the world and your tax system, yours may cost more or even less. I said I wasn't going to show jib shots. Well, I am anyway. Used sparingly, jib shots are awesome for setting up a scene, showing action, and for establishing a location for the viewer. Here's one that sets up a parade. The next shot might be the parade walking by or through the camera. Here's a jib shot which perfectly lets the viewer know we're in a nice city. I love this thing.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. This is the way I know you're watching this and you're enjoying what I'm doing. And make sure you send me an email, thebasicfilmmaker@gmail.com. You can also go to Facebook, The Basic Filmmaker. You can send me a Twitter, Basic Filmmaker, or you can also go to my blog, thebasicfilmmaker.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Let's talk about this thing. This is a jib. It allows you to let's talk about this. This is a jib. The box just fell.